Los Angeles, May 2037. Toxic rain is pouring down over the city, where gigantic buildings dwarf ancient skyscrapers. Lights from huge billboards flash along the streets and wipe across the crowds of pedestrians in Sector 5, Little Tokyo District. The White Dragon Noodle Bar is crowded with customers, sitting on stools, slurping their foods out of bowls. Veteran Blade Runner Willem Novik is among them, enjoying a few days' hard-earned rest and reading today's Independent Sentinel news. Now, the reason why Detective Novik has taken off these past couple of days was because he's had a pretty rough breakup. He's been in a relationship with somebody who he knew it probably wouldn't have worked out in the end. But it was a younger detective. And, something about her just spoke to him. Maybe it was a young detective in need. It could be that he identified that she was having some troubles and wanted to be there. The relationship got a little bit serious and had to be ended. And since she was connected to your place of work, you figured taking a few days' well-earned rest might help cool things down. The relationship was not known to your partner, your current partner, Fenna, or to anybody else in the Force, for all you know so far. Would you care with that to describe your character a little bit?
So he's an old gentleman. He's probably fast approaching middle age, if not there already. He's got very, very short, greying hair. That he keeps very close cropped. I think he's quite a big fella as well. And he's got the kind of his face is one that kind of imbues trust, I think. Although he is also perhaps a little bit insecure, but he doesn't show that so much out here in the noodle bar. Is that enough? Do you want any more?
Excellent. I think that's perfect. And while you did that, we also scrolled down a bit on today's Sentinel, so people might be able to enjoy and read some of the other things, or see if they could actually figure out the daily chess challenge as well. Just about as you're getting your food, you could see that it's being brought over. Out of the corner of your eye, you kind of notice a spinner slowly descending into the nearby lot. You recognize the spinner. The spinner is a detective special. Although what it would be doing here and why is kind of a mystery. And as your bowl of food comes over on this rainy day, and it's hot, it's placed in front of you, and you look back again, and you see approaching a very familiar figure, and that figure is your partner, Fenna. And as she comes closer to you, you already get that sense of dread and fear and despair. Why is she here now, intruding upon your time off? And as you just don't even care anymore, and as you turn around to go and eat your food, you accidentally knock over the bowl of noodles, spilling it all over the place. And so quite hungry at this point, and frustrated over losing your meal. You maybe silently curse inside, I might imagine, as
Classic
one would
Novak
in the situation. And when you turn back, almost with alarming speed, like somebody shouldn't be really moving that fast from where she was when you last saw her, to you spilling out the bowl of food and then turning over in exasperation, you see Fenna right behind you. And at this point, I'll ask Croy, please introduce yourself.
Fenna. She is knowledgeable in the ways of infiltration, espionage. She's served times in murder squads, assassinations. She's given everything. Risk, shame, sacrifice. But, you know, she enjoys her job. The role makes people's lives better, right? That's what it's about. It's about doing what needs to be done in order to get things right. Fenna is she is relatively new, I guess, in the LAPD. She works in the Rep Detect unit. She had one partner before who she learned everything from. But yeah, we'll not say any more about that right now because I don't know where that's going.
Excellent. And so, for the benefit of our viewers, we do have the orders that you receive now on screen for everybody to read. So, go ahead and what is it that you are saying to Detective Novik in this our very first scene of the game?
Novik, why are you eating that stuff? You can't.
No, I'm not eating that stuff.
Just take care of your food, will you? Look.
What the hell are you doing here? I'm on vacation.
You ain't in. They need you in. We need you in for a briefing, Novik. You can't just sit out here in the rain. Not good for your skin anyway, right?
What's the big deal?
Emergency briefing, Novik. All hands. All hands required. And before you disappeared off grid, we wanted to have been sent to get you in. Don't worry, they'll smooth it over. You'll get your time back. Just one more job, right?
I'll throw some Chinyan over to the noodle cellar, and gather my things, and then trudge wearily after Fenna back to the spinner.
All right. As you head back to the spinner, it is a two-seater detective special, and you are heading back to HQ. We are going to cut scene, and we are going to cut scene 2. The LAPD in Deputy Chief Holden's office at this point, where another detective is waiting inside the office, kind of impatiently. And Percival, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing in Deputy Chief Holden's office while you're waiting for him to address you.
I'm a newly assigned officer as a field analyst to the Rep Tech department, specializing in crime scene forensics, and people seem to get this impression that I'm overly eager to impress and sort of stressed about doing well. And that's true. I am. I'm trying to live up to the standards others have set before me, because I've got a lot to prove. People really, not that entirely sure about people like me yet. So, trying very hard. Trying to learn on the job from all the much more experienced officers. But I have got some skills. I can do things that other people can't. So yeah, I feel like I'm useful, but I still feel like I've got things to prove. So why am I here? I'm waiting to find out. Actually, being called in. I think there's something going down. Hopefully, it's an opportunity to show my worth again. I've been doing doing reasonably well so far. But just worry about making any mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
all right. And as you did walk into the office, you see a Deputy Chief Holden there, and let's for the benefit of everybody, bear with me while I try to find the right image of Deputy Chief Holden, which is here. And let me go ahead and make sure that all players can see that as well. So that is the person that you see behind the desk. And as he's about to address you, he looks up at you, and it's kind of like you're not the person he was expecting to see in his office as you knock on the door and you hear a come in. And he beckons you in, and then he just waves you to sit down on one of the seats, and he's like this. One second. Goddamn artificial lungs. And as he continues to cough for the next 5 minutes straight, trying to catch his breath, he'll stop and then he'll try to breathe. He'll like, and it seems like there's something irritating him. He's looking at something at the office, and oh damn it, where is he? And they pick up the phone, go to say, well, where? How come he's not here yet? No, the order was given. Where did he go? But patch me through to Fenna. Fenna, while you're in your detective spinner at this point, heading back to LAPD, you kind of get this call, and you answer, and what you hear on the other end is Fenna.
Who's this? Who is this? Who is there? All I can hear is static. Who is there?
And then all of a sudden, communication gets cut.
I don't like these calls. They keep trying to sell me animals. I'm not looking for one.
And we'll say a short time later, you arrive at LAPD and head right away to Deputy Chief Holden's office, where again you bang on the door and you hear a. I'm not overplaying it, am I? Anyways, and he beckons you in, all right, good, Novik, you're here. Very happy. Listen up, sit down. We have an urgent situation here. Last night there was a shooting in Sector 1 in a sordid place called the Snake Pit on Nightclub Row. 2 Nexus 9 Blade Runners were there. Serial numbers LH3-793 and SN9-148. Codenames Leia and Sandor. And at that, we're going to stop for a brief moment, and I'm going to ask Detective Novik to make a roll.
Oh. This'll go well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At the sound of the name Leia, I would like for you to make a. It's going to be an empathy manipulation roll, please.
Okay. Well, that's a letdown. No successes.
Yeah, okay. Now, I will remind you, pushing is something that is available in this game, and it works a little bit differently than maybe some of the other games that we've played, but kind of, yes, very much like the Free League Year Zero. As long as you did not roll a 1, you can re-roll any non-1s by pushing. However, if during the time of your roll, you've received a 1, that 1 will not be re-rolled, and that 1 will result in damage to the character, either mental or physical. And if you do push a roll and get a 1, then the result of that 1 does definitely cause damage or harm, physical or mental, to the player. I'll also mention, I believe that you guys have in your inventory a signature item, and a signature item is something I think that allows you, and I'm no rules lawyer, but I want to learn the claim better, so if anybody in chat wants to help me out, it'll either allow you to automatically succeed on a roll once per game, or it will allow you to re-roll it. So one or the other. But if that, I'm not suggesting that be done now for this. But if that if that happens and you guys want to leverage that rule, we will look and make sure that we get it right. So in
No,
this case,
I don't think at this point that Willem wants to kind of push himself too much. He's just been dragged in off his vacation, so he's not really thinking about what Holden is saying properly, and so he's not making any connection with the names at all.
100%. And I think I'd like then our two other investigators. Let's give them a chance to make an intelligence observation roll.
Okie dokie. Right then, intelligence observation. Click on observation under. Oh, there you go. Ooh.
And then you just click the roll button, I think it is, and
It.
Oh, wow! At least somebody succeeded. I rolled.
he wanted to impress.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, you know,
Erstwhile.
Fenna, you're kind of used to Novik's moody nature, perhaps. Might be a stretch for the player to play that. I'm sure it is, but you're used to the character at least being terribly moody, and so at the beginning you don't kind of notice anything out of the ordinary. Percival, you do notice that maybe you know, at the name of hearing that there were two other agents involved, it did seem to have an impact on Detective Novik. Maybe he's expecting that one of them has died or was involved in some way. I mean, we don't get much more in the briefing yet, but you notice that at that point there was kind of a moment of discomfort, and we can continue on because the Deputy Chief Holden doesn't stop at that point to allow anybody to kind of consider the events of what they notice. So, I'm going to start again. Very easy. We have an urgent situation. Last night there was a shooting in Sector 1 in a sordid place called the Snake Pit on Nightclub Row. 2 Nexus 9 Blade Runners were there. Serial numbers LH3-793 and SN9-148. Codenames Leia and Sandor. Maybe you've seen them around. Anyways, Sandor was shot dead. Leia is now missing. We have no idea where she is. They went to the Snake Pit to investigate a suspected Nexus 8 activity, but we don't know if that's what's triggered the shooting. According to local cops on the scene, witnesses said there were human supremacist jerks at the Snake Pit last night. Maybe that had something to do with it. We just don't know. I'll guess we'll read all about it in that sleazy tabloid Kill tomorrow. You need to figure this out and fast. I have the breaths breathing down my neck on this. And you know the Nexus 9 replicants were approved for use on Earth just last year, and mistrust against the reps is running high. If someone out there is killing and kidnapping Nexus 9s, we need to find them and stop them fast. Add to that, Wallace Corporation is pushing hard on this. Their business depends on this new breed of replicants, and anything that jeopardizes that would be a major blow to their bottom line. They're letting us run this investigation, but have offered their assistance. Their PR manager, Quell, is expecting you at Wallace Corp HQ to tell you more about Leah. Play nice with them, I mean it. You can play this any way you like. Split up to cover more ground if you need to. I don't care, as long as I get results, and fast. You have the full resources of the Rep Detect unit at your disposal. Sandor's body is being processed down in the crime lab right now. Of course, you could check the LAPD mainframe for personnel files on Sandor and Leia, and any ESPR footage of the Snake Pit last night. Maybe you'll get lucky. I have uploaded to your KIAs all relevant information that we have so far. Now get out there! He doesn't even ask you if you have any questions, but he does pause as he's waiting for you guys to leave. And I will send you now the information that you guys were presented with. And you have the handouts for Leia and Sandor. And let me just push those through to you guys as well, and I will keep those open for now. And while you're pondering this, he does add one more thing to this briefing.
I think he needs to get his vocal cord sorted out. He's in a bad way.
That is all. You may go.
Okay.
He should play a round of golf or two. I think he'd appreciate it.
Yeah, come on. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. No.
What are we going to do first? Do you think?
I don't know.
Check.
Maybe somebody should take a look at Sandor's body, find out.
Yeah,
I mean-
that might be something I can do.
Yeah.
I'm going to check the footage. I'm going to see if we can get some eyes on the place.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, okay. Have we met? I'm looking at.
No, I'm new around here. I'm relatively new around here. I'm a field analyst in forensics. So yeah, I'm really here to help. I'm definitely looking to learn from you more experienced guys. And mostly make myself useful.
Is it obvious whether they're replicants or not, Fenna and Percival? I mean, the name like Percival, right? Got to be a replicant.
Yeah, I am. Well, I mean, yeah, I prefer the term artificial person. But
yeah.
yes,
You
yeah,
would-
I'm
you
a
would-
fairly new model. I'm Nexus 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nexus 9s. Much like the ones that have...
Well, exactly. I wonder if they're from the same, production line as me. And what their incept dates are, we'll have to see.
Oh, well, maybe you could go check that out then. Morg's in this building, right? Jake, did you say?
Yeah, downstairs, I think. Well, I've been there a couple of times, so yeah, it is.
Okay.
I'll go and check the body.
Yeah, we'll go and check the Esper footage, and you can let us know your findings.
Okay.
Okay.
Where will we meet?
The way this game proceeds is that every day has 4 shifts, and in a shift you can accomplish one thing. You can split up and each decide to do different things during your shifts, but you do have to kind of keep track of what it is that you want to do, and we will then move from person to person to describe what information they get or don't get, or allow them to interact with their environment as they go through and investigate. You can also go in pairs, or you can go all 3 together. We are just going to say that this is the day 1. We'll call it day 1, and it will be the first shift. It's in the morning.
Okay. Actually, while Ben is checking the Esper footage, I'm gonna call up the records for both of these detectives and see if I can get some background on them, if I may.
Okay.
Check it if that's in the handout that you've. I can't see the handout, Jake.
No, it hasn't turned up. I wondered if it was me.
No.
Okay. So if William Novik is going to get information on the 2 officers in question, let's just see what Fenna is going to be doing with her first shift.
Sure. I think Ben is checking Esper footage. That was
Fenna's going to be looking to see if she's getting eyes on anything on the street that looks untoward, anything on the back streets that looks untoward, any vehicles that look out of place, anything that would suggest anything other than business as usual.
Okay, excellent. And Percival, what direction is Percival going to take?
I'm going to go and have a look at the body of the officer that was killed. to see if I can determine anything using my forensic skills.
Okay, all right. So, what we will do then is let's go to Willem Novik. As you are researching on exactly these two detectives, if you're doing it through the Esper wall, then that gives you an advantage. And since you're at the LAPD, you can go ahead and definitely leverage that. So you can go ahead and I will find for you the appropriate rules for that. And okay, apparently that's not where to find it. Here we go. So go ahead and you can make a tech roll for that.
With advantage.
With advantage, yes.
Thank God. I'm not very good with tech, it turns out. Ooh, advantage. Terrible.
Oh.
Eh.
I might push this one.
Well, okay. So the fact that there are no successes there will mean that the information you're going to get is quite limited.
Yeah.
But if you push it, number one, then you risk the one and getting damaged. If you don't and you decide to come back at a later point to try to get more information, then you can certainly spend another shift doing so. But what you find is information that you basically would have found at any point in time. You know the officers, you know when they started working, you know they're both Nexus 9s, they're both only started working within the past year. You have their personal addresses that are on file. You know from first-hand evidence that at least one of those officers is you've been to that place before, so you absolutely know that address is correct. And one more thing that you might have found out is that it looks like Leia, in this case, had a performance report that you can't seem to get access to. You may actually be able to try to get access to that at a later time. I mean, you should have access to it, you think, because, you know, you're investigating this. Maybe the permissions didn't get through. But it seems to me that, you know, Leia and Sandor's performance records are not available to you.
Oh, so neither of them are available. Interesting. And is there somebody I can put in a request for those two?
So you can, and again, that might come during a different shift, let's say.
Can I put the request in now and have the information available on a different shift? Is that how that works, or is that a I'm not sure
yeah,
how it
so
works.
generally the way that this will work is that submitting the request, going through the connections, calling the right people in, making sure the paperwork, waiting for the right secretary or whatever, you know, that maybe somebody else who's trying might have a little bit more help, or maybe the information isn't really important or germane to your investigation. You don't know.
I don't know. That seems like the kind of thing that I would need for an investigation of this type, particularly as he's involving these two Nexus 9s. I think we should have access to their records, if nothing else. That seems a little weird. I mean, obviously Novak isn't going to assume that it's because he's incompetent. he's going to have to try and bust some heads to kind of get access to this information, right? So
100%. And if it hasn't been made clear, Detective Willem Novick is the chief investigator in this for
that's
this
a real
case.
good point.
Everybody else responds and answers to you. So
Oh.
if you are the agent, you are the I guess the senior agent on this case. So you can
Okay.
certainly ask others to try to get information for you. That wouldn't be something out of the ordinary.
I mean, first of all, I would like to contact. I don't know. Can I contact whoever it is in records and kind of just say, find out why I can't get access to these records? Is that a
100%.
thing I can do?
Yeah, and that will be resolved.
Okay, all right.
At a different shift.
Okay, fair enough.
Moving on to Fenna.
Yes.
Fenna, you head down to the Ritkarm. Sorry, no, you're not. Sorry, that would be Percival. Percival is heading to the Ritkarm crime lab. It is the Replicant Intelligence and Technology Division, as well as the morgue, situated in the LAPD tower. You see there in front of you Chief Medical Examiner Coco, who is looking something like this. And that works out. And you see he's you know, a kind of an eager person, very, 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 it looks very much like he is eager to get his work done and to do his work and stuff like that. And he'll turn to you and go, Detective, who are you? What do you want? And as he asks you that, he's kind of going back to, reading a book.
Oh, that's. It's Detective Percival here, field analyst. I'm here to have a look at the body of the detective that was killed last night. And we've been assigned to the case, and I've come down to see if I can do a quick bit of analysis of the body to look for clues and leads to work on. So if you could just show me through, that would be great.
Yeah, of course. And for this is his job. Not everything is a role, and he'll take out the body, and he'll lead you into the morgue, and it's a very clean and sterile environment. Maybe
good.
One of the lights might still be flickering because they have flickering light technology even in those modern times. And as the body is rolled out and the blanket is removed from his face, let me see if we have here. Put up Sandor's data file so you could see his face. You could tell right away that this N9 Blade Runner has a very large hole in his chest. And that's the first thing that you notice about the body. And you hear Coco say, "Yeah, pretty gruesome. I wouldn't want to get hit with that kind of thing."
What do you think it was? I ask him.
That! And he points to the hole in the middle of his chest.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think did that? Although I'm going to imagine I can make some good deduction of the kind of weapon and caliber that would do that to a body.
Well, I would say that a medical roll might not be out of place if you'd like to make one. And wow, that is quite excellent. So
he's on fire.
You know, you could definitely see this a hole like this. It's coming from a very large caliber uh, bullet, a very large caliber weapon. It also, with your second success, you're very sure that this damage could have only been caused by a large caliber bullet that was fired at point blank range.
Right. Yeah. That sounds significant.
And
that would mean...
what Coco will say is, so you guys have been to the crime scene yet? Did you recover the bullet or something? Anything, the slug? I could take a look at it and maybe get some more information.
Not yet, but I think that's going to be one of our next steps.
You haven't been to the crime scene yet? Well, how long do you think you can wait until you get to a... What am I doing down here examining bodies, and the detectives out there that are supposed to be doing their jobs haven't even gone to the goddamn crime scene yet? God damn.
Yeah. Well, I'm expecting the lead investigator is going to take us there very soon. I want to make sure I've done everything I can down here first, because I thought, well, the one thing we do have and hasn't been contaminated yet and has been recovered well is the body of the officer. So I thought it would make sense to, seeing as how we've just been assigned, get down and have a look at the first piece of evidence or lead that we might be able to get at.
I hope you find this killer. It's a horrible thing to be shot in the back.
It is.
Didn't even see it coming.
Now, we talked about there being a hole in the chest, but can I detect if the wound was on the front or the back? Because there's very difference of damage, but the direction of a wound like that. So I should have been able to work that out. You said it's from the back. Is that something I agree with as an observation?
Well, it's the medical examiner is giving you that information as in discussion. So, if you'd like, you can make another medical roll to see if you concur with that.
I'm sure. I mean, I imagine that guy knows exactly what he's doing. He'll have seen more of those than
I mean, you haven't seen many, but to you, it just looks concave and convex, and then the massive amount of damage.
Yeah. Anything else about the body? Is that, or is that just the only real thing?
That's the most obvious thing there, and then the thing that you're focused most on. I would say that with your medical role, you still don't detect anything else. You're fairly certain that.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll also ask about any effects, any personal effects that came in with the body. Was there? Have they gone to the evidence area? Was there anything notable there that you know of? Asking the morgue attendant or the
yeah. Well, that wouldn't have been left with me. That would have been, taken probably by the LAPD on the scene. I'm sure you can go through those effects at some point in time. They only bring me the body. Although from the sounds of it, they should have me up there doing more of the real work. I'm not quite sure. The detectives here in this case are specifically focused on the proper things from the very beginning, but that's... what can I say? I've just been out of the sun for way too long, I guess, and things work differently out there now than they used to.
Ooh, what do you mean by that?
Nothing. Look, if there's nothing else, Detective, I'd really like to get back to my work. And when as he says that, he goes back to his desk, proceeds to put his booted feet on the top of the desk and continue to read his book. Right.
Okay. I'm going to head back then to join up with the rest of the officers.
And at that, I think we're going to move to Fenna. Yes. I'm not just quite sure what you are doing behind that getup and everything where you are, but I'm assuming that you're somewhere around in there. Yeah, I got the thumbs up, so that looks good. So Fenna, where are you taking us?
I am going to the city observation and CCTV part. I look for local cameras, footage that's been brought in from the cameras from the nearby businesses, and I want to trawl through the tapes just to look to see if there's anything under out of the ordinary, out of the usual business of a street like that, in a place like that. Any vehicles, anybody acting suspiciously. I'm going to take my time and fast forward and scrub through some of that footage and make sure that anything that might give us a clue will find its way into our desks and make sure that we can factor that into the investigation.
All right, excellent. So you can go ahead and the one thing that you do find there from being in the Esper Wall, and again, this is just as you're going through. Why don't you go ahead and make an observation roll for this?
I would make an observation roll. Okay. Do I get any advantages?
Sorry, it could be that that's not a thing. So if there is no observation roll, let me know.
Oh, there is.
No, I've got it.
Oh, excellent, cool.
Observation.
I know enough
You're
to
like
doubt myself.
hidden.
Oh wow,
Like,
that is a roll.
That
Yeah.
is that is
Oh,
a
that
roll.
was a roll.
That's would have solved this all by himself. That's
100%. So what we're gonna do is, for fun, I am going to show you one of the scenes that you see from outside. No more information than perhaps with this, you will be able to find another clue or some other information. So this is the scene that you see from outside the club, and it is aha. Come on. Okay, it doesn't allow me to do it from here. We'll do it from here. I'll just make sure all the players can see it as well. Go ahead. Oops. All right. So that is what you were basically able to see. Now, obviously, this is a roll you don't want to push because you'll just take 2 damage. And not be able to roll anything else anyways. So, but this is what you are able to find. If there is anything here that you find interesting or that you want to do, I will allow you another roll if you are specifying, or if there's a different approach you want to take towards looking during your one shift.
Do we have any other cameras on the nearby streets so I can see where they approach from? Did they get out of vehicles? Could we get ID on the vehicle?
Okay, then that would be a tech roll, and again with advantage because you're using the Esper Wall.
So tech advantage.
And you do get the
Yes.
success that you need to notice that in the upper right-hand corner of it, and it kind of reminds me of those video games where they kind of show everything dark and bleak, but you know that the clue is because it's kind of a different color that stands out just a little bit more, and you got to head in that direction. But you do find a zoomed-in image of a Metro cab. And you see a figure looking very familiar to you based on the mugshots and the files of Leia entering that that Metro cab, and you do have the license plate number for it as well.
This is good news. Okay.
Not for Sandor.
And that is very well done.
That's it. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. All right. So
And
with
that-
that news, I guess
Mhm.
head back to meet up with Novik and the new guy.
And Percival, yes. And
Percival.
this
Yes.
brings us to shift 2. So as we move on into shift 2 of day 1, what is it like the investigators would like to do?
Well, I'm thinking that visiting the crime scene might be a thing.
You don't have to listen to Coco. What did he know?
But we do have well, I think the metro cab seems relevant. I'm guessing that the footage of Leia leaving was after the events, the
Yeah, that was
shooting.
The image that we see of Layla getting into the cab.
Layla, yeah.
Layla, yeah. Layla. That is after the
Meeting.
yeah. Is that correct?
The
order of the footage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Cool.
That
cool.
would be correct.
All right.
And
Where do we meet then?
So you all have your own spinners, number 1. They're 2-seater spinners. So if there's 3 of you going to a specific place, you could take 2, you could take 3. That's really up to you. And again, if you're splitting up and doing different things for your second shift, that's also fine.
Sorry.
Fenna would definitely seek out Novik to tell about the cab, and would if Percival was there, that would be fine. If Percival wasn't there, then yeah, that wouldn't faze her. She would just let Novik know what she found, and then yeah. So if we were meeting up, then in the parking lot or the air lot at the top of the building or wherever we are.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're all in communications with each other via your KIAs, so you can definitely have communications during scenes and after scenes as well. And you can also be, going for that coffee. A scene is a shift is a very loose term. So if you're heading to the cafeteria, you have coffee to take notes later on, or going into an office to take notes, or just sending each other messages or calling each other over the KIAs. Communications here is not a problem.
Yeah, Fenna would definitely talk to Percival and to Novik as well, and just let them know what she found.
Okay, so we've got an image of one of the detectives leaving the scene of the crime in a cab after another. Can we assume then that maybe she was the real more responsible for shooting her partner in the back?
I'm sure
you can't rule it out at this point.
It's one possible avenue.
Okay. I mean,
but it's also only based on what you have so far. Based on the information that you have so far, she's missing, is what you know.
Yeah. Well, it's all right, Fenna. The footage that you looked at, can you get an idea of the disposition of Layla as she was leaving? Was she in a rush, in a hurry? Did she look flustered? Androids dream of electric dogs.
Exactly. VR meets real life.
Yeah, so that's one thing I'd be interested in finding out. Like from that footage as she was entering the cab.
So what did I see? Was it a video that I saw, or was it just stills? Was it actually video footage?
You did see a video. You did see, we'll say, the video portion of it. Difficult to see with all the people going in and forth what the disposition is of the person entering the cab, and that what we pulled out for you was a still image, which again you could have shared with everybody.
I was going to say, I've got that, so I've sent
via
that
the
on
KIA. So I
Yeah,
can go
okay.
in and see if there's get that back on line if
Yeah.
anybody
Right.
wants to see it
I'll say
specifically
it's
there.
really difficult. This was taken from over the street. There's no way that we'd be able to tell. It's already been zoomed in. It was a lot of people on the street. It wasn't a great shot. We could spend more time to find out if there was anything better, but this is enough to be getting on with.
Yeah, we need to track that cab. And we need to figure out where that cab took Layla. There's got to be some record of that. Bernard, do you want to go check that out?
I go check out the cab. Yep, I'm on it.
Okay. So Percival.
Yes. What can I do? I'm here. I'm here to help.
Have you ever examined a crime scene before?
Oh, yes. Numerous times. It's my main task on investigations. To be fair.
Okay. Well, maybe you can go and check out the crime scene and see if you can find any evidence or clues or any leads there. Speak to any of the people that would have been in the bar at that time, maybe. See if you can find out who might have been there. You got a problem with that?
One small issue, perhaps. I think I heard some mention of anti-replicant sentiment, and I wonder if it's. Well, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. I'm sure. I'm sure they won't take exception to me. I'll just be discreet. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it.
I'm kind of observing Percival at this moment. How does he? I mean, I'm getting the impression that he's a little bit reluctant to kind of enter this area. So this is a known thing in Sector 1, is it? There's some kind of anti-replicant.
Well,
I mean, I'm not going to send him in there if that's likely to be the case. I mean,
is it a known bar of that sort of people, or is it just that there were some of those people there on the night?
Well, I'll tell you that this club has some notoriety associated with it. In that it does have a history. There are fights that come out. There are controversies, which doesn't seem to bother the owner or management of it very well. He seems to know how to capitalize on this notoriety really well to make the club even more famous. And
it's a pretty seedy area, isn't it? That's what we were told. It's pretty. So I mean, are they not already using kind of some replicant labor, so to speak?
Benna would hear that over the comms and say, Percival, if you need some backup, just tell me now and I'll head my way straight towards you.
Okay. Well, if you are if I can call you if I think things are getting difficult, then that's great. I think that makes me feel a bit more reassured. And well, it is what I'm for. I mean, I'm going to have to deal with this, so I will. I'll go.
And
I'll be fine,
sorry,
I'm sure.
What was Detective Novik going to be doing with this shift then?
I'm still trying to get through the personnel records, don't I?
Oh, you're still you okay. You could do that now, or you could do that later. It doesn't need to be necessarily done now, but it's up to
I
you.
mean, the thing, yeah. Okay, maybe I'm gonna go and see Quell. Maybe that's my thing. Maybe I'm gonna head over to Wallace.
I mean, it's. I'm not pushing one way or the other. If you want to spend another shift at the Esper Wall, that's a legitimate, completely legitimate. It's up to you. In terms
made me
of
doubt myself now.
First of all, in terms
no.
of the call that you would call if there was anything wrong, understand that might still use up the shift and take another shift.
Okay.
It could be just,
I'm going to hope.
Because at what point do you get into trouble of looking of going there and parking and getting to the scene and observing, and then being able to or having the need to call for backup?
Yeah. So I think the only way to deal with this is to do it. I think I need to get on with it, and I don't know if it's still a crime scene and if there's any other police activity there, or if it's gone back to normal again. But well, that's what I'm going. One way
I
to
mean, there'll
find
be
out.
witnesses, right? There's got to be witnesses.
Yeah,
Somebody must have
exactly.
seen something.
Well, exactly. They may have footage in surveillance
Inside.
footage from inside the bar as well. Actually, thinking about it.
Well, see what you can find out.
Yeah, I'll go. Right, that's me. I'll leave that to me. I will head off there now and report back when I have.
All right. Very good. So we'll lock in our choices now. So we have Fenna is. So Percival is going to the crime scene. Fenna is going to try to figure out the Metro cab and the license number and get information from that. What
Yep.
has Detective Novik decided to try?
Yeah, I'm going to go. I mean, it seems like Wallace wanted to be involved in this, and we've been told not to make many waves, right? So I guess I'm going to go and see if there's anything that Quell might be able to give it any information that we might get from them regarding errant Nexus 9s, maybe.
Excellent. Okay. So, coincidentally,
such
we will
thing.
start. Sorry?
There's no such thing. We are perfect in everything.
So,
Perfect
coincidentally, we will start with Detective Novik. As you are heading out to see Quell from Wallace Corporation, you get a call on your the vid phone in your patch through to your spinner. And on that, you see the following person. That works. And the person answering the calling you when you answer introduces herself as well. She says, "Is this Detective Willem Novik?"
Yeah, that's me.
Well, my name is Quell, VP of Public Relations here at Wallace Corporation. You were told specifically that you should be coming to visit us. We have information from you, and we need to understand how the investigation is going. Yet, I still don't see you here at my office yet. What has been the delay?
There's no delay. I'm on my way there now, incidentally. Should be
Excellent.
there
That is
within however many minutes.
well. That is acceptable then, and if you are delayed upon the way to get donuts or crumpets or whatever it is you detectives stop for, it will not be well received by my superiors or yours. I look forward to welcoming you to Wallace Corporation when you arrive.
I ask for you when I get there.
Yes. Except she already hung up.
Well, that's a bit.
She's
Functional.
rather brusque.
As you do land your spinner at Wallace Corporation, you are brought into a building that well, not necessarily maybe under construction, maybe under a lot of renovations. It seems to you like the building is quite empty for a building its size, where there should be more people working and more activity going on. Everything seems to be very quiet, and there just doesn't seem to be that. It's almost like I haven't hired people to be in all the offices yet, but it is a very very large building, very prestigious building, most prominent building in the area. And as you walk in, you are brought into an office that is quite severe. in its well, probably as severe as the person who greets you as you come in. The furniture is very minimalist, very modern, very neat and tidy, very purposeful, one would say. And even the garage, when you landed in, it was a huge internal garage without that many vehicles populating it. You could see that the empty interior has this pale golden light cast with shadows all over the place. And at the front desk, you are received by a hairless file clerk who leads you into Quell's austere office. Immaculately decorated. And she stands up from her desk and looks you over. Looks over your coat.
I offer my hand.
She looks down at the hand. It seems to me that she's examining the hand first. Like everything on that hand minutely, from your cuticles to how clean they are underneath, to any cracks that you may have in the hand, any signs of yellow nicotine from cigars perhaps, or cigarettes on the fingers. And it seems to you that she's like kind of calculating, analyzing a million different things about you while you do that. And she takes your hand in a perfunctory manner and shakes it, nice strong grip, and has this very thin curly smile as she does so, and says, thank you, detective, for coming to let me receive you so quickly after being called. Your compliance is noted and will be reported to your superiors.
Oh, no problem at all. I was told that you might have some information for us regarding two of the Nexus 9s that were involved in the incident last night.
Yes, as you know, the Nexus 9s were released just last year, and people could be very sensitive in these days to the release of new technology, especially when it comes to the Nexus series. My understanding is that two Nexus 9 Blade Runner officers were involved with the shooting the night before. What have you been able to find out from your investigation until now?
Well, not too much, to be honest. We have identified that one of the officers was shot in the back at close range. The other officer left the scene shortly thereafter in a cab. I mean, I'm sure we don't want to put out any information regarding what could potentially be a rogue Nexus 9. That would be a PR disaster, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes, 100%. And we know that there have been, a lot of anti-Nexus 9 sets among the human supremacists organizations. What arrests made of the of these human supremacists with regards to this shooting?
I mean, there's no connection with any human supremacist group as yet. All we know that it appears that one of our Nexus 9s may have shot and killed her partner.
That seems highly unlikely.
No, that's true.
Nexus 9s are state of the art. Their perfection. I think it's clear that this was perpetrated likely by somebody else, not involving the Nexus Nines. That can't be your only avenue of investigation. But
No,
that's the
no,
only avenue
it's
that
not.
I'm hearing from you so far. I mean, what kind of clues were you able to get from the crime scene? What have
We
some
have
of
an
the
officer at
witnesses
the
told
crime
you?
scene. We have an officer at the crime scene at the moment who is currently taking statements.
What has he
And,
reported so far?
Nothing as yet.
What, didn't this crime happen last night?
Yes, it did.
And only now in the middle of the afternoon are you you don't have any leads whatsoever?
No, we do have a lead. We saw the.
I mean, credible
second.
leads. You don't have any credible leads?
Miss Quell.
Just Quell.
An investigation takes time. You want to be sure. We want to be sure. That is one of the avenues that we are pursuing, is the fact that there is potentially a Nexus 9 out there that has killed her partner. I mean, there may be that. Obviously, we have not gathered all of the evidences yet, but we have to take that into account because there is a definite danger to the public if that is the case. I mean, we can always put out an APB on the missing Nexus 9. Perhaps that would be a start. That would make our job certainly a lot easier.
Do you really think it's wise, given the current political climate, to be putting out APBs on Nexus 9s?
I'm not really interested in the political climate.
Do you know what kind of damage this could cause to the Wallace Corporation, and without any shred of evidence whatsoever? What was Holden putting on this thing? I don't understand.
We have a missing.
You haven't been to the crime scene. You're the lead investigator. You haven't investigated the people at the club. You didn't get statements yet, and yet you're ready to put an APB out on one of your own officers, a trusted and valued Nexus 9 Blade Runner.
Do you have any information that might be useful?
Well, I know that recently Leia has had some recalibration based on some baseline tests that she has recently failed, and it does happen on rare occasion. Memories can cause certain troubles or instances. I can let you know that she was recently recalibrated by her by the original memory designer. The memory designer was somebody who was outside contracted to work with Wallace, somebody close to this case, and that was Lilith Memory Lab. She was the person who has been designing many of the memories for the Nexus 9s. As you know, these replicants need to have a history. They need to have memories. They have to come into this world experienced already to give human interaction with them the more personalized human approach. Of course, we don't have any control over what happens to their memories and their experiences after they're created. But I mean, that's what you have the baseline tests for, to ensure that something like this could happen. So it's very unlikely that any Nexus 9 who has been recently recalibrated could have been involved in shooting another Nexus 9.
List there, Lilith Memory Lab. Yeah, I'd know where they are, right? Would I know where they were based?
You can get that. Sure, you can get that information. No problem.
Was that so? Is it a particular memory designer, or who would have carried out the procedure, the recalibration procedure?
That would have been done at the lab, and again, outside contractor. You could easily find out who it was and
Yeah.
when, for sure. But that is your shift.
Okay.
I know, just when
I
it
don't
gets
really-
interesting,
don't
right?
feel like I don't know if I helped much or whether I just got told off a lot.
Oh, well, you know,
Yeah, it's,
maybe a little of
don't
both.
I? Just like my real life. Um,
All right,
anyway.
and let's move on to Fenna. So shift 2 of day 1, and where were you heading out?
Bennett is heading to the cab
Excellent.
company
Okay.
to find out
Uh,
what was happening.
Okay. No worries. So you can get there quite easy. But what is going to determine your ability to find out the information that you might look for would be a manipulation roll. So why don't you go ahead and give us a manipulation roll?
She's good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
there we
apparently
go.
you are good
One
at
success.
that. And let's put that there.
I got
Yes,
an-
you did get the
an
success.
8 and a
There are the
3.
rolls. And as you get there, you actually know this person. You've met her before. This is Irmgard, and Irmgard greets you and goes, "Ah, Fenna, how you doing? It's
Irmgard.
nice to see you again."
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you too. How are you?
Hey,
what have you been?
listen, are you doing any better with that new detective Novik? Last time we spoke, you said he was a real case, it was cantankerous with some of the words you used. You didn't seem to be
He
having a
seems-
good time about it.
He seems to need some holidays. You know, he likes to get away from it. I don't understand. But
Yeah,
you know,
it's-
that's what some people like, and we got to respect that, right? They need
I mean,
time
I
to
remember you
recharge.
were telling me what happened to the last partner he was with. You know, like, so I understand your hesitancy. I'm hoping that's going well. Did the transfer to a different partner go through, or did you not submit that one in yet?
Not yet. I don't think the Chiefs managed to sort it out, but we'll see how it goes, right? We'll find out what happens. Yeah,
Excellent.
look,
Right.
I've come down for some business. Hoping you can help me. Yeah.
Sure, but here, let me make you a coffee first, and as it goes, dispatch. This is, you hear her going on and dispatching a few things, but she brings you a cup of Joe, just as bad as the last time she offered you that cup of Joe.
Lovely. Thank you very
it's
much.
One of those,
much appreciated.
glass coffee carafes that hasn't been washed ever, and just keeps on
And
having
turn
more
off-
coffee. Put it in back and forth.
Turn off my taste buds while I'm drinking it with a smile on my face. There's been a bit of an issue. I'm hoping you can help me trace a cab. Here's the details. This was last night
Mm-hmm.
at the Serpents the club, and I give her the details of the location. of it.
Yeah, the snake pit. Yeah. We do a lot of runs back and forth from the snake pit. A lot of drinking in that place with good customers. Yeah, for sure. I look. Is this legit? Don't you have to come to me with like some sort of I don't know, writ, or doesn't a judge need
but-
to give some sort of something that you gotta?
We're on a clock here. We haven't got long. We've got the PR from Wallace Corp breathing down our necks, and the chief's not happy about it. He's
I'm
wanting to-
just kidding you, good judge. We don't care about that. You and I go way back. All right, yeah, sure. Listen, way back. Well, it's way back as a year, but in any case, it's you've always been a good joke. Yeah, that's Earl. That's Earl's cab for sure. Where
did he go?
Let's see if he's out. He's out there now. Let's get Earl. This is Irmgard. Do you hear me, Earl? Yeah, this is Earl. Give me 5 minutes. I'll be off my break. Then I'll go pick up whoever you need. No, Earl. I got somebody here. I got an old friend. He has a couple of questions to ask you. All right. And she passes you the little handset
Earl.
to talk to the cab.
appreciate you taking time out your break. I hope you've got a good cup of tea going down there.
Yeah,
Listen,
nothing
Earl.
like what's at the office, but it'll do.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there. Listen, you picked up somebody from the snake pit last night. Just at the time, and I give the time, whatever it was.
I pick up a lot of people at the snake pit, back and forth all the time. You give me any more information about this person?
Yeah, she's and I give her the description because I can't remember what the description was, but I give her the description. Would I say that she was would it be obvious that she was a Blade Runner, that she was in the PD, or
Well,
was she was playing clothes at that point, or?
Well, you don't really know.
Yeah.
But if you're going to a club on the snake pit, you're not going dressed as a police officer. That much you do know. And Blade
so
Runners don't necessarily,
that.
do that unless they're like.
Nah, they're on. Nah, okay. Just one.
so
she gives a description.
Yeah. I remember her all right. Yeah. Young woman. Oh God, she's clearly upset. She had a gun in her hand. She didn't even she walked in with a gun. I wasn't asking her many questions. It was like, but she was clearly upset. I don't know what her disposition was. Maybe she recently broke up with somebody or something. I don't know. Who knows what it could have been. But...
What kind of gun was it? Did you see? Was it a handgun, pistol? Was it something bigger?
It was a gun. It was a big gun. Looked like a gun.
Big gun.
A gun.
Yeah. Where did you take her?
It was for sure a gun.
Thanks, Earl. Listen, Earl, where did you take her? Where did you drop her off? We need to track her down. She's obviously upset.
Well, look, I was happy to get rid of her when she told me to take her to Anemoid Row. I dropped her off. She disappeared into the crowd. I left really quickly. I didn't tell anybody about it. We see a lot of weird things in cabs, picking people up and dropping off packages and doing some strange things. But
Earl, we just want to know about the lady with the gun, Earl. That's all. Was there anything else? Did she call anybody? Did she speak to anybody? Was she in the back of the?
No, it's a good thing she didn't either. She clearly had. I tell you, if anybody called her at that point, she would have chewed their head off or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and
I've upset my wife before, but she's never pulled a gun on me or anything like that. It's been, But I recognize anger in women when I see it.
Well, there's time yet. Don't worry about it, Earl. You'll be fine. Just keep making the good tea.
Are you saying there's still time for my wife to pull a gun on me? What kind of a thing is that to say? Don't worry about it. Ermgrid, you know what? My break is over. Find me a fare. I gotta make some more money. I gotta buy flowers for my wife now for some reason that I am not aware of.
Appreciate the help, Earl. Thanks.
All right.
I look at Ingrid and say, thanks, Ingrid. Listen, just give me a shout, all right? You know where I am. You know where to work. If you need me, then just give me a shout. Thanks for your help.
Yeah, you owe me one now. That's great. Yeah, will do. Sure. I'll call that in one day. I'm sure I will. Anyways, next time you're available, bring me over some donuts. We'll have more coffee together.
I'll bring you some more tea bags as well.
I see. For my coffee. Tea and coffee.
You should really put a tea bag in your coffee.
Whoever would consider putting... Why would anybody put a tea bag in coffee? It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. But all right.
Ridiculous, isn't it? It's a done thing, apparently. Anyway, thank you. For your assistance. It's been most helpful.
And
and then that's it. Yeah, I go back into the rain.
And I think we have time to do the snake pit crime scene prior to having to take our next break. Percival, you arrive at the crime scene. You park your detective spinner somewhere close by, and you have to actually push your way through crowds of gawkers, because at this point it looks like the police tape has been up for quite a while. Nobody is being allowed in or out. It's already beginning of the afternoon, and so people seeing a crime scene tape that just seems to attract them like flies to the yellow fly tape that I don't know if people have them anymore, but you know, if you went to summer camp anywhere between the 70s and the 90s, you had the little fly tape and stuff like that that was yellow, kind of reminiscent of the police tape that says do not pass. And as you pass your way through, you notice that at the head of the police tape line there is one uniformed LAPD officer that is kind of keeping people out and managing who comes in and out. And you can go ahead and make me an observation roll as you try to make your way through the crowds.
Here we go.
You are just on fire.
Good.
So outside outside the lab, and I'm going to try this a little bit of a different way. But outside the lab, you see standing out. Sorry, outside of the scene in the crowd, you see somebody who is who stands out, a little bit taller than everybody else, completely bald. And bear with me as I find his mugshot for you, so that you can take a look at it.
Yeah, this old thing seems to be a thing.
Yeah. Fashion statement.
Yeah. And you see this person, I'm guessing as a player, I'm going to see it in here. Oh no, it only allows me to do it this way. Okay. So you see this gentleman. He is standing out of the crowd, and as you're looking about, and as you head to the beginning of the crowd, and you kind of show your badge to the officer at the front of the line to set you through, you see him like pushing through the crowd and moving up towards you, and he goes, You're one of those detectives here. You're here to investigate the scene, aren't you?
Yes. Citizen, how can I help you?
I was there last night. I saw some of what went down. I was at the club. I saw everything that happened there. And you can see that there's a crowd of people now kind of around you and him, and they kind of like listening in intently.
Would you like to come with me into the club so we can talk confidentially?
Certainly, detective. If that's what you're telling me to do, then yes, I'll certainly follow you in. I'm very happy to tell you exactly everything that I saw. I hope they catch the people that did this horrible thing.
Oh, people, you say? Well, come inside and tell me more. Thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for being proactive in this.
I've been waiting out a long time. I mean, I knew that young cop over there, he wouldn't be any use. I've been waiting like the whole morning for a detective to come so I could, tell them what I witnessed and what I saw. But so I'm certainly glad that you're here.
Eventually, yes. Right. Okay. I'll usher him in inside. So hopefully we can maybe find somewhere to we can talk inside without all the crowd.
Yeah. Okay. And with that, I will show you what you see inside first. Yeah, and let me just make sure everybody can see that as well. And that is what you guys... That is what you see inside. However,
the Sentinel. Sorry, I've not ended up with any more handouts than the Sentinel. Or do I have to hold on?
Okay, so
None at all.
You can go ahead. The handouts location will be on the it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's the 6th one in the journal. And if you look at if you open up case file 01 electric tree.
Yeah, we're not seeing the handouts at the moment, Jake.
No, they're not
It's a Foundry thing. Yeah, I think maybe.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I can push them to the screen again. I'm not sure if you do see them or not.
No, we're just getting the
Show
newspaper
players.
show up.
How about now?
There you go. There you go.
All right.
Oh,
So yeah,
goodness.
Yeah.
wish I would have known that
Oh.
prior. Um. So Styles is outside of the location or inside with you, and he goes ahead and starts to talk about. Sorry. Start to talk about some of what he saw, and what
Well,
he
actually,
mentioned.
particularly could he describe?
I'm sorry?
I'm going to get him to sort of, as he describes what happens, I'm going to cross-reference with the scene, actually, and see if I can see if his story gels with the scene as he describes it. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Press on.
So
Cool.
yeah. I was a guest here at the club last night, and a brawl erupted. This fight when some replicant haters started jeering at Iris. She's the N9 dancer who was dancing that night on stage. He, I didn't see all of it clearly, but I'm pretty sure Jel Skylar was there. Yeah, he's the publisher of Kill Magazine. Him and his cronies were in that crowd. They started to throw things and jeer things at the stage, demanding real human dancers, and it was just a really, really, really bad scene. Of course, when I saw the trouble was coming, I kind of wanted to leave as soon as it seemed to really be getting out of hand and getting violent, and I heard a lot of shouting and shoving in people, so I just tried to get myself out, and then once I was out, I heard the shot ring out, and I ran. I don't want to be anywhere near anybody shooting, but I'm hoping that my testimony is helpful to you, officer.
Thank you. It's a pity you didn't see the actual shooting, but you have to.
Well, I'm certainly happy I didn't. I could have been the one been shot, just as easily.
Okay. Well, can I get your contact details, or I'll give you my. Can I get any contact details if I need to follow up with you?
Oh, of course. And he will pass you his contact details.
Right. Okay.
Anything else I could do to be helpful, I'm happy to do so.
Did you know? Did you? If I assume I've got pictures of the two officers. I'm going to show him those pictures to see if he recognizes those from the night. Did you happen to see any of these two while you were here last night?
Yeah, he looks at them and says, "Look, it was quite crowded, but I don't recognize either of those people. I didn't see them at the club last night. I come to the club regularly. I've never seen them at this club. Not that I remember. If I did, I don't remember it. It's
okay. Well,
they may have been here, just lost in the crowd. I didn't see them.
Okay. Well, thank you again for your time.
Anything I can do to help the fine folks of the LAPD is I'm happy to do so. Thank you for coming to the scene and taking my statement. I'm pretty tired. I'm gonna go to bed now. You know how to reach me if you need me.
Yeah. Do I get the feeling that he's telling the truth?
Well, there's a roll we could probably make for that. So yeah, let's go ahead and give you that roll. It would be an insight roll.
Okay. Oh well, let's see if I'm any good at that.
Now,
1 and a 2.
You did not succeed at an insight roll, so either A, he looks truthful to you, or it's difficult to tell. His face is kind of impassive. If you do decide to push this roll, you will be taking mental damage because you rolled a 1, and that means you are only rolling the roll that was not successful.
Okay.
So
I don't think I'll push that.
Correct. Okay.
Cool.
Very good.
Because he's not really saying an awful lot, and it wasn't as yet pivotal. So I don't think I'm going to do that. What I am going to do is now have a good look at the crime scene. Actually,
Excellent.
I should check. Well, can I just retcon something and say? Well, actually, I'm going to quickly pop out and ask the officer who is guarding the scene if there has been any forensics done yet. Like it sounds like there hasn't been.
So you pop out and ask him. So we're not going to con that, but you can certainly do that now. And the officer goes, I've been waiting here since last night for you to arrive. My replacement didn't come yet. I mean, really, a shooting happens last night. What takes you guys so long to get here? You guys are the ones taking the evidence or calling it in. We're just called in to secure the scene until you get here. You're all alone. I guess I should stay outside to maintain crowd control until you're done.
Thank you. Yes, I'll be as quick as I can, and I'll also see if I can chase up your
I
replacement.
better be getting overtime for this. Sarge said my replacement would have been here an hour ago. I'm still waiting. You! Don't cross that line. You stay there. This is a crime scene. God damn it! It's animals.
I'll leave him to it.
And this time, as you come in, you see a person heading out from behind the bar, and as you walk in, he kind of rushes towards you and goes, finally, you're here, so we can open up the place now, can we? We're back in business? You're done?
No, I'm afraid not. I'm afraid I've only
what do
just
you
got here
mean
and I need
not
to...
done? This is, and let me go ahead and pull up an image for you at this point, because there are a lot of really nice images here. And let's just see if this works again, and you'll let me know if we've gotten this any better. So yes.
Yep.
All right. And he introduces himself as do you know who I am? I'm Taffy Lewis. This is my bar that you guys are keeping held up here for some reason. Weren't you guys supposed to be here first thing in the morning with that thing to detect stuff and pick up hair and fingernails and blood and whatever it is that gets you guys going in the morning? I've got a business to run.
Well,
certainly the LAPD is going to be hearing about this. This is outrageous. A crime has been committed in the city. You guys don't care. You don't come here. And you're keeping my business closed all during this time. When do you think we can get this show on the road? Chop, chop. Go do your job. Pick up something.
I think you do have to be. We do have to take into account that a crime has been committed in your establishment.
Oh, you're one of those, aren't you? And he looks at you, and it looks like he's about to kind of like touch your face or something, but you don't. Like he doesn't know if you're going to allow him or not, and you're an officer. He doesn't, but he's now measuring you. So basically, I'm talking to a machine now, aren't I? Beep beep, boop boop, boop boop, beep beep. When pick up,
Now,
boop boop.
I think you
analyze
need to
crime.
I think you need to watch your tone, sir. I'm a
of course,
fully recognized officer of the LAPD, and I'm investigating, as I said, a crime.
I have a fully
Your
recognized dancer of the snake pit back there, who also I could speak beep beep boop boop, who is currently not employed dancing or making money for this bar. And you know how expensive those Nexus N9s are, don't you? Well, of course you do. You are one, aren't you?
I
Hope you're not one of those Nexus 8s.
No. Well, I'd like to speak to your dancer later, but if you let me
I'm
go
sure you
about
would.
my
I'm sure you
business,
would.
I make
And you
this
can
as
come back later as a paying patron and speak to her as much as you like.
well, I'll speak to her later. Thank you very much. But let's see what we can do about sweeping this scene for any evidence, and as you say, letting you get on with your business after we've done that. So if you let me, if you stay around and make yourself available for questioning, I'll get about my business. Actually, before I do that, can you tell me about were you here at the time last night? I guess.
Oh yeah,
an owner
yeah.
like
Of course, I'm here every. Yeah. I like business simplicity. I'm that kind of guy.
So, what
You
happened
wouldn't think about that.
that you saw?
Hmm?
Sorry, what was
You know. What did I see? I saw a regular day at the snake pit. You know, things sometimes get rowdy here and there. Uh, what is it you want to know specifically?
Well, I think, as you can imagine, I'm particularly interested in the events leading up to the shooting of one of our officers. I should have thought that would have been quite clear.
Officers? An officer was shot here?
Yes. The
Oh.
I think that's the large blood pool on the floor is pretty much a testament to that. Did you not know they were one of our officers?
I. What else can you tell me about this crime?
Well, not as much at this point, but I'd like you to tell me what happened that you saw last night, so that we can add that to our information.
Look, I don't pay attention much to stuff. I let, staff handle everything around here, but, there was a little bit of a scene. Some of those, some of those Kill magazine people were here in their group, and, there was a little bit of a rowdy, they, sometimes I think I make half my business because I employ Nexus and 9 dancers, and they just like to come and jeer. If that's part of the fun and how it, if it's good for business, it's okay. But certainly shooting is not. And yes, that big pool of blood there is a result of the shooting. You're a very astute investigator, I can tell.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'll tell you what. If you can stay in the premises, I'll come and speak to you later if I need to, and I'll move on to looking at the crime scene for evidence.
Yeah. By the way, that guy, I saw you speaking to that guy, that tall guy with the bald head before. Was he also a police officer?
He seems to have been just one of your normal customers. So
he
tells
was,
me.
Yeah, he seemed to have been.
Is he somebody you recognize?
From last night, of course. When the brawl broke out, somebody like, he seemed to come in and confront these guys. He was trying to get them to stop, bothering the dancer. We let those things happen every now and then. Good exercise for people to, go at it every now and then, get out some tension and stuff. Makes people thirsty.
What? Fighting? You say?
Oh, there was the arguing. He tried to keep people away from the dancer, obviously. See, I didn't spend much time there, but so he was one of the police officers you were talking about. Was it his partner that got killed?
Well, certainly it was a police officer that got shot, but we're still trying to determine who it was. Well, primarily we're trying to determine who it was that did that. So
a police officer got shot in my club. Police officer, yeah. Even the police aren't safe at the snake pit. That would make great. That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Yes, but it would also
Are you
possibly.
rougher than a cop? This is the place for you. There's some
Or
way
even
to
you
do
are not
this.
safe at the snake pit. I think we'll have to as
Figure
part of
this.
my investigation, I'll have to make some
Was
commentary.
this a
some
good
comments
like?
about
Was this the
safety of the-
100th police officer in LA this year? Or something? Is there a good round remember this? Some way to spin this and make
No,
people
no,
feel
I
like
think
it was an event, like a happening.
I
Like
can't comment about that. I'm really just focused on this particular event.
really,
and
I thought you
crime,
guys were
so-
good with numbers. Aren't you? Aren't you good with numbers?
Yeah, I'm also good with privacy of information. So
I mean,
I'll
ones
thank
and
you not
zeros.
to,
That's what you're made up of. No, ones and zero. 0111 0111 0001. If
It's
I
a
say
little
that
bit more
enough, will I
complicated
invoke a
than that.
command on you to do something? Should I be careful?
I think you should be careful.
I think
I think we should all be careful. I think you should be particularly careful of whether this has any impact on your license to operate the establishment at all. But let's move on from that. And
do I
thank you
have
for
to
your
speak
time,
to the
and-
mayor again? Fuck, that's gonna cost me. Oh shit.
Well, I'll leave that to you. But let's see if we can't clear up what went on here. And
Well, yes. Well, here is the blood that the body bled out. There is the frigging mirror that you guys broke or something happened to it. You know how expensive that thing was? Look, all these, this, I'm going to have to replace this bar stool. That table is ruined. I mean, no, wait, that blood stain on that table. Oh yeah, we could use that. Oh, that could be good. We're going to make sure the blood stain stays there. That could be a feature of this place. And he goes off and we'll start ruminating of, different ways that he can, use crime scene evidence that lingers in a place as.
So I'm going to do like a forensic sweep now over the
Marketing, baby! It's all about marketing!
Oh.
We serve the
Yes,
same
thank
crap
you.
everybody else does, but boy, this will put us over the edge.
I think if you can give me just a bit of space here, I'm sure I can make this investigation as quick as I can.
He's already gone. He's back in his office
my
thinking
God.
about things, writing notes. Here, clear
Right.
all on your own.
So, I guess I'm going to look at the classics of evidence of the trajectory of the bullet, direction,
Okay.
and from that, from casting my eye around it, there definitely seems to be a suggestion, and I want to investigate this, that the mirror is that the bullet was shot in the direction of the mirror. Well, that's what I want to check. Is the smash
Yeah,
mirror?
of course. So go ahead. Why don't you go ahead and make an observation skill? We'll see how. And I have no doubt you're going to succeed because that's just what you do. Oh wow, 2 successes. Okay, so that's actually very good. So, yes, a few things that you do find. So, number one. The blood stain. We'll go with that. That's the very first thing there.
That.
It's at this point of the game already semi-dried, but you are able to collect enough in one of your sample containers to bring back to the RIT crime lab. You can see traces of a struggle. You see broken bottles. You see damage to the interior. It is clear signs to you and your keen investigative and observation mind that there has been signs of a brawl that occurred here. When you head to the mirror, you notice that it is cracked. It is affixed to the wall. And you're able to use some of the crime scene tools that you have to extract a very deformed bullet in the wall behind where the mirror is. there are two things that are curious about this bullet.
Ah.
The first is that when you were trying to trace a trajectory back from where it was fired,
Yeah.
you can't find a bullet casing. And that bullet casing would be a very important clue, because knowing where it dropped, then you can kind of determine a point from where the gun was fired.
Mm-hmm.
However, in this case, you don't find one there. So that, together with that large mass of deformed bullet that you find behind the wall, and with your experience as a Blade Runner, you suspect, and you'll have to confirm this in the lab, that this was perhaps caseless ammunition.
I was going to say caseless
ammunition, very similar to the types that a Blade Runner blaster would fire.
Okay, well that's going to, considering the footage of Layla leaving. Well, okay, well, put the bullet into an evidence bag as well. With the large blood splatter and the where the bullet ended up, I guess, and thinking back to the image of the crime scene, we can roughly estimate where somebody was standing, but it's in the middle of that floor. I mean, it doesn't really tell us an awful lot, but it's that's something at least. Okay, anything else I can scan for, look for? No casing, no bullet casing, slug found, big blood spatter. I look around to see if there's any evidence of cameras.
Yeah.
In the
no, you don't
club.
see any evidence of cameras in the bar.
Yeah,
Taffy Lewis's place.
Exactly. If you
Not
ain't
good
got
for
cameras,
business,
you
expensive for nothing.
Exactly. Okay. Now, looking at the stage, I'm gonna climb up on the stage and have a look down at the main club floor to just get an impression of what sort of view somebody on the stage might have had, thinking about the dancer that I'm going to go and talk to. With what sort of elevator position does it provide? Just to get an impression.
you'd see from, well, first of all, as you get onto the stage, you notice other signs. You see beer bottles scattered on there, maybe some broken glass from beer bottles. You might notice different types of food that might have been served at the bar. It looks like there's one of these little greasy, waxy containers that you might put nachos in. They have a red and white striped covering on there, and you see that it looks like that there's some nachos and cheese residue, and a case somewhere on the stage as well. Maybe a half-chewed hamburger kind of splattered all over the place with the meat somewhere and parts of the bun and anywhere else. So you notice that kind of stuff on stage from that position. You notice that backstage there is a door that heads out either to the either to a back corridor or to another room.
I'm going to go down that way actually and think in giving the place the good once over. So let's head down that way and see what we get to.
Okay, so I will actually at this point give you a little bit more of an idea of what that is. So if you bear with me a minute. That would be. I'm guessing here is the. I think this is the place where I was showing it to you the best. So you're right. There was probably a place that was not. Oops, that wasn't the one. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. Oh, oh! All of a sudden,
Not
I've
that
got
one either. Is
some
that?
view of
Do you see a
all of
map there, or
the.
you don't? I'll put it up over here
Uh,
in any case.
I do now. Yes.
All right, excellent.
All right.
Well, whoops, that was. So we'll just open that up a bit.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So you can kind of definitely see from where you can go back to the backstage,
Yeah.
and
There are like 4 changing rooms, 5.
yes, and
Yeah.
and in the middle, yes, in the middle one, the smallest one, there is where you would you kind of as you're walking down the hall, well, you can hear it kind of muffled down. Little crying, a little,
Ooh.
shaking a little. Somebody is obviously distraught.
Okay. Well, I go and move towards. Well, I'll go towards that. And,
All right.
Knock on the door if it's assuming it's closed.
Yeah, you'll hear. Go away, Taffy. It's not the time. Just leave me alone. I don't want to go on tonight.
I'm going to say it's Detective Percival here from LAPD. Can I talk to you?
What about? This isn't a good time.
Well,
This
it's about
isn't a
what
good
happened
time.
last night. It's about what happened last night, and
You can keep the place closed for a few days. It's all you investigate.
possibly.
Well, then come right in. Come right in. Anything I can do to help you, officer.
Hello. Right then. Okay. So I introduce myself. I'm Detective Percival. I'm here to investigate the.
And you see. And let us find.
Iris.
Oh, there's got to be a good one here. Yes, there is. I'm so happy. Let's see if you see this one. You see Iris. You find her dressed in a robe. She seems to be smoking intensively. The ashtray beside her is filled with partially extinguished cigarettes. It looks like, without even realizing that some cigarettes weren't finished, she's just out of habit, like kind of, put out the cigarette and then put another one in. They all have that little, same lipstick color on the butts of them. And she goes, what do you want to know? It's the same thing here every night.
And what's that? Is it
those?
Taffy said something about it getting rowdy. I'm not sure exactly what he meant.
Yeah, there's it's always the same time. Those trashy people. They don't like us replicants. I don't know why they come here to watch me dance if they don't like it. Sometimes they seem to enjoy it and then throw things at me anyways. It's always a brawl, always the jeering, always the lewd comments. They make me feel like I'm not a person.
I can sympathize with that. I don't know if there's some sort of replicant to replicant secret handshake or wink wink nudge nudge, but I imagine she's worked out I am. 1, 2. So well, you say this is happening every night?
Not every night, but I mean it gets a rowdy place. It's Good for business. I mean, people come back. That must mean I'm good at what I do. I guess, but I'm an artist. I'm here to dance and be art, not an art to be jeered at. Why are humans so complicated? They seem to want us and then not want us. We perform functions in society. Why are we tormented for being what we are?
Well,
I mean,
I think that's our.
They created
cross
us
to
for this
bear.
purpose.
They did, and I'm here to fulfill my purpose, which is to find out what happened last night, and see if we can't trace you. I mean, did you see the actual shooting that happened?
Oh no! I didn't stay for the shooting. Things I could tell they were getting way out of hand. They just, they were shouting and screaming and white supremacists. Ugh.
Did you?
Yeah, the hours aren't
see
great
any-
either.
And do you live here?
I have my own place, but I was kind of too shaken up to go home. I just wanted to calm the nerves down.
Taffy said there was somebody last night who was trying to stop all the jeering, and I spoke to somebody earlier, a very tall man, bald. Does that?
Nope. No, I didn't see anybody like that. No.
Oh, okay. Well, you say you left the stage when the
Yeah, I can
okay.
tell when things are getting too out of hand, and it's a balancing act. Like if I leave too early, then Taffy, he'll get mad at me because but I left in time not to get damaged. You can insight anything you want at any time, by the way.
Okay, I think I'm going to insight some of this just to make sure she's not misleading me at all.
All right. Well, you have one success, and you also rolled a 1. And the success you rolled was on a D10. And the very special thing about the D10 is that if you rolled a 10, then you would have gotten a second success. However, if you decide to push the roll and not get a 10, you still take 1 point of mental damage and possibly will get no information. So are you happy with a single success and no damage? Or did you want to potentially push it and maybe get
I'm going to push it for the educational value.
I don't know if you can push it.
Well, hold on. That means I have to get a 10 on a 10 to get any.
Correct.
You've got the maximum on that one die.
The GM,
right?
I am not suggesting you do that. I'm explaining the mechanics out there for those that might be interested in knowing more about the mechanics.
Over if you want.
I know some of the mechanics really well. That's
I tell you what, I'm just going to take my one success.
The game runner is a very evil person by nature. So.
Oh yes, I saw.
Despite everything Angie Pop
Canadian.
Says. That's right.
Canadian. Known for their viciousness and horribleness. Yes.
So, one success will tell you that she seems particularly uncomfortable, and you are not getting the full story from her.
Okay. Can I try and well, I'm looking at the stats here. Manipulation. Can I try and berate her or sort of come on a bit heavy as a police officer to see if I can get more out of her?
Okay. Yes, I will allow that. And that will be the last roll. that you get for this scene, just so we kind of keep things equal between the players.
Okay.
And decide
Right.
what he's going to do on their shift.
Right. I'm going to do this manipulation. I'm going to try and see if she's telling, see if I can get her to tell me more, because I've detected that she's up to no good. Oh my
2
goodness.
successes.
I switched off the 3D
Now,
dice, so I only see it on the
If you
chat
would
now.
like to push it so that perhaps you can get... I'll stop there.
No. I think
yeah.
I think 2 will do.
She goes, look, okay, fine. Listen, you don't have to be so mean about it. Well, actually, go ahead. Role play the push. You succeeded. Let's see how you're going to do it.
Okay, so I think you're holding out on me. I think you've got more to tell me than you are. And I am starting to think that there's something about that guy that I was talking about earlier that you know about. So come on, stop holding out on me. We want to find out what happened to our officer, and well, we don't want to. I think the sooner we clear it up, the sooner we can let
an
this place
officer
go
was
back
killed?
into business. Yes, I'm afraid so. It was one of.
What else can you tell me about this investigation?
Well, I think I've told you enough.
She goes,
I'm asking the questions
it's
here.
obvious.
Yes.
It's quite obvious that I'm sure if it was a human detective, I'd pull one off, but I can see that there's no fooling of a fellow replicant who's trained as an officer.
This,
So yes, that man you're talking about, his name is Styles, but he didn't do anything wrong. He always looks out for me. He always looks out for all the other replicants. He's just a friendly guy. I've seen him around the bar. I've seen him around Animoid Row and stuff every now and then, but he had nothing to do with this. He tried to help me. He tried to get me out of there.
Tried to get you out? What? Working here?
Yeah. No, he tried to get me out of the brawl. He shoved me through the back entrance, and I went back to my place, and I closed the door behind me. And sometime soon after that, I heard a shot.
Was it very soon after he shoved you in off stage?
Look, I wasn't looking at my... Well, actually, she probably would know exactly to the millisecond how much time it was, so I can't... I can't game runner hoisted by my own petards. Yeah, it was just a minute afterwards.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, can you get? Can I? Well, I'm going to get her to tell me her contact details for follow up, and leave her her alone, and go and finish up. Really, maybe swing by Taffy to say that it's okay for him to start cleaning up. And I'm going to head back to...
That's great news! Detective, you're wonderful! You've solved the crime already! And he pats you on the back. Here, let me get you a drink on the house! 50% off next time you come.
I say thank you very much, but I decline the drink and head off back to my spinner.
Yes, of course. You don't want to be seen drinking on the job. Come by later tonight when you're finished with the shift. You're going to see this place will be cleaned up, spick span, ready to go. Iris is going to shine on the stage. It's going to be great. And at that, we will end the second shift of the day. And we will discuss third shift avenues of investigation. So this is after you guys have had the chance to kind of sit down and talk. So let's go ahead and let's play that out. Where is everybody meeting up, or how are you communicating?
Well, I report in via the
KIA.
Okay.
KIA, say that I'm heading back, that I've done the investigation and I've picked up a bullet slug, and I'm going to drop it off at forensics.
Okay, so we know how
forensic
you're
lab.
doing that. That's fine. We'll stop there for a minute.
Cool. Yep.
And how are let's go back to here so I don't forget. Fenna and Novik, where are you guys meeting up after your shifts? Or communicating
That's a
with
good
each
point.
other?
Yeah. So what has Fenna found out?
Anna's on the KIA. She says, "You're not going to believe this,
No, tell me.
Layla. In a cab, you asked before. You
Yeah.
asked, what was her mood? Well, imagine what your mood would be if you were walking into a cab with a gun. You had a gun in her hand when she walked into that cab. Now, I couldn't get any details. The Earl, the driver, he was useless.
He didn't know where he took her.
He said Animoid Row. Why was she going there?
Did he give you an address, or was he just? Did he?
He said Animoid Road. Did he give a number, or how does it work? What is that? I
Yeah,
don't know
no.
what that
So basically, would have dropped her off very close by to the taxi stand or the Metro Cab stand on Anamoid Road.
Okay.
is. Okay. We've lost her. The trail went cold. She went into our cab. We don't have any details.
No, we haven't lost her. We can get a look at the Esper on Anamoid Row about that time. He gave you a time that he dropped her off, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Apparently there was something wrong with Layla's. I don't know, maybe a programming or something. She's been recalibrated. Does that mean anything to you? Does that mean anything to Fenna?
Yeah.
Yes.
Calibrated.
So basically, when a replicant doesn't pass their, I think it's the Voight comp test or
Baseline. I
the
think it's
baseline test. Yes.
Yep.
So if they kind of
Okay. So she's failed. Yeah, because that's like a psychological test, isn't it?
Correct.
She's failed that, and so she's been sent back for recalibration. Yeah, some independent contractor called Lilith Memory.
If they've somehow been wormed, or if they've got some sort of package in there that's gone into her at the same time as the reprogram, who knows what they could have done? I don't like the thought of my mind being played with. That's something that she would have had to have done willingly and with trust, but she's gone in and maybe they put something in her that they shouldn't have. We need to check them out.
You want to meet me there?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Meet you there.
So that's what we're doing.
Okay, and at the same time, Percival is also calling in.
Yep. Sure, Percival. If you want to, you're going to drop the slug off forensics. Get them to analyze that. See whether it's actually a Blade Runner's gun.
Yeah, exactly. And I've certainly heard Anamoid Row being mentioned in the conversations I had with the dancer. I think there's something going on there. So who does the bullet? Who will do the forensics of the slug? Is that something I would need to do, or like give it to the lab and they'll do it for me?
Yeah, give it to Coco.
Oh, I can give it to Coco and yeah.
Cool. And I don't know who it is that declares the crime scene sort of done with, but it looks like it is from my point of view. So they might let the snake pit go back to business. Back to its normal line of business.
But so what are you thinking? I mean, it sounds to me like it may have actually been a Blade Runner that shot Sander in the back. Which would be more than likely Layla, right?
Well, It does sound like it, but why? And I think, well, first of all, the bullet forensics will confirm what kind of weapon it was, which will then possibly tie into the reports we had of her entering the cab with a gun in her hand, etc. But well, we don't know why they were even there. Thinking about it, so yeah, well, get the bullet forensics first, and then follow that line of inquiry. And it does seem to lead to Anemoid Row. The contact details I got from that guy I spoke to, who sounds like he was Styles. Where is that? It's not Anemoid Row, is it, by any chance? Because if that's the case, then I think well, yeah, we're pointing toward. Okay, so yeah, drop off the bullet for forensics, and then meet up with the rest of the officers to decide what we'll tag along. I think.
Yeah, we're going
anything else to do.
Yeah, I mean, we've got two leads, haven't we? We've got Lilith Memory and Anemoid Row.
That's true.